Alright guys, I'm back again. I restarted my machine, dropped my bit rate, and dropped my resolution, so hopefully that'll help. It just doesn't seem like my computer can handle 1080p live streaming, so dropped it down to 720. Live stream. Okay, I'm going to pop this window out. Close this. All right. Finally, let's get started. Okay, so now when I port software, essentially all I'm doing is replicating exactly what that looks like on the source code that was provided to me. In other words, when you get a new piece of code or a new set of source that you want to port, essentially you're just replicating the same thing on the target system. So what does that mean? I'm going to go ahead and add a Explorer window to kind of illustrate what that looks like. Add screen. So these are all the files. When I pull down Beats of Rage, these are all the source files that the game or the engine comes with. So essentially, what we need to do is just basically add them to our project that we've built here. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding these files. And this is probably where it takes the most amount of time to actually do the porting, is actually to figure out which files you need to bring in. But to guide you with that, for those people that are developers or have some interest in writing code, there is what's called a makefile in C and C++, and the makefile, which is this file here, actually will determine what files need to be compiled. So even though you've got a whole bunch of files here and a whole bunch of folders, not all of these files actually get compiled. So the makefile will actually drive what that looks like. So let's, if I open up the makefile just in the editor, basically what this is telling us is all these files here are the ones that we need to bring in to build the engine. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now obviously there is a couple of dependencies that the Amiga doesn't have. For example, OpenGL, that's not something that the Amiga can provide us with. SDL, we are going to use SDL for this, so we are going to incorporate the SDL stuff as well. So the goal here is I'm going to bring all these files in, compile it up, and hopefully it can, it'll work. But it probably won't first time, but we'll see what we can do. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So let's kind of start from the top. You can see that the first file here is this add PCM file. So I'm going to go ahead and add a folder. I'm going to call it source, and then add another folder, call it add PCM lib, and then I'm going to add to project the source, the add PCM lib, the add PCM file. So that's already been included, and now we do the same thing for the next set, the GFX lib. So underneath source, I'm going to create a folder called GFX lib, and then add all those files. And as you can see, it's not the most fun part of the job, but it's essential. Now these are all graphics filters, and we're not going to use any of these on the Amiga. I can already tell you that these 2x SAI and H2QX and motion blur and scale 2x, none of these are going to work. I mean, they'll work fine, but they will really cripple performance. So the target here really is, 320 by 240, 8 or 16-bit screen as fast as possible. But again, we'll see how that performs. So they've been added. Moving down, we've got the game lib files. So let's go ahead and add those. Oops. Add a folder called game lib. So I'm just going to add all these files. I don't know if all of them need to be here, but we're just going to add them all for now, for the sake of time. I think, my goal for today is if we can get this to build and at least output something, we're doing pretty well. So no guarantees that that's going to work, but it might. So, fingers crossed, guys. Script lib. Let's go ahead and add those. Add folder called script lib. And the same thing again. I'm just going to add all the C files that I can see here, except for maybe that unit test one that probably doesn't need to be there. And then we got preprocessor. Add folder preprocessor lib. You guys hear me okay? Just hold around the chat. Haven't seen anyone type for a while, so hopefully this is still up and running and you guys can see me okay. Add folder preprocessor lib. Add to project. I like to talk out loud when I port code, guys, so hopefully that's not too distracting. Hey, Pit of the Giant, what's up? Hey guys, thanks Novidej. Thank you for responding. All right, ranlib. Add folder. Ranlib. Add to project. PNG. PNG lib. And then source. So at this level, we add files. So we've got string pointer right there. We've got utils and we've got string istr. So let's add that. Oops. So now we've got some SDL stuff. So let's create a game lib should have filters already. It does. Let's create another folder called SDL. Add folder SDL. It's not underneath. It's at this level here. SDL. Add to project. Joysticks. Control. SBlaster. Timer, video, and menu. This one is for OpenGL. We're not going to use that for the Amiga. And then we've got 3 more files here. We've got OpenBOR, data, and OpenBOR script. Add those. Okay, so they've been included. So with that, I think we have all the files included now to build this project. There's a couple of additional things we need to do. And guys, if you have questions or if you have any interest in software development or you want to know more about C, C++, or compilers, please ask. I mean, I'm not a huge expert in this. I mean, I've been writing C programs for years, but I'm not a guru at some of this stuff. I'm pretty good at porting code to other platforms. I've done it for a long time, So if I'm going too fast, or if there's any questions, or just please reach out. But I'm going to keep moving. So we have all our files in our project now, but we can't compile them yet. There's a few more things we still need to do, and we have to set what's called include paths. And what that basically means is with all the source code that we have, there's what's called header files, .h files, and the .h files need to be referenced as well. So to put that in plain English, if I look at this OpenBOR.c file, at the top you see what's called .h files, header files. So they need to be referenced as well. Now you don't actually include those in the project, but they get referenced from the file system. And what that basically means is we have to tell the compiler the paths to where these .h files live. Otherwise, we'll get a whole bunch of errors. So what I'm going to do is look at the makefile again. Now, the makefile will tell you the paths where you have to include the .h files as well. And this is what this piece of the makefile is telling us, that for all the .h files that we need to reference, they're all living in these subfolders. So we're going to have to go ahead and include those subfolders as well in our paths. So in order to do that, first thing I'm going to do is take away this Explorer window because it's just sitting there and it's taking up all the space. And I am going to go and add the include paths to the project. Hopefully you can see that screen. You can. And to do that, we go to directories, include directories, and we start adding them. And essentially what we're going to do is add all these paths in here. Very, very manual, but it's the way it is. So the first one, oops, I got rid of it. Let's try that again. First one is just a period. The next one is source. The next one is source, add PCM. Now, another way you can do this is you can click on the file system and add it. But what that does is it gives an explicit path. So in other words, it'll say something like C:, development, Amiga, open beats of rage, source, add PCM lib. And that's okay, but when if you want to bundle this source and put it on GitHub, or if you want someone else to take the source and work with it, you want to provide relative paths rather than absolute paths, because obviously they won't have the same path as you. So, hey, what's up, Ravi? Thanks for joining, man. So we are going to keep adding these. Game lib. Pre-pro. Grand lib. Source. Script lib. PG lib. Source. PCXlib, source, GFXlib. And we need one for STL as well. Okay, so that's done. So now, let's see how this goes. It's probably not going to compile. There's probably going to be a bunch of errors. But hopefully we can clean them up pretty quickly and see if we can get this to build and run on the Amiga. So in order to compile this, we go to project, or sorry, execute and compile, and sit back and watch this progress bar go. And actually, you guys can't see that. Let me add that for you guys. Let's do that again. Oops. I want to show you what the compiler looks like. So this is the progress. So now if I go to clean that and compile, you can see the compiler. So it's building all the files that we have included as part of the project. And we've got a couple of errors here, so that's really not a huge surprise. So we're going to go ahead and try to fix these. And fixing errors is always a pain in the butt to do. And sometimes they're fairly cryptic, but we should be able to figure it out. Let me do that again. Sometimes I can't see the error too well. I have to kind of look a lot closer. So it's going through these files. Instruction commands.c. There it is. So there's the error message. Invalid conversion from void to list. So the first thing I do before I even try to fix this or figure out what's going on is look at the makefile that I had previously and see if this commands.c is actually included, if it actually needs to be here. So if I go to game.lib and if I don't see command in here, there it is. It is in there, so that means it's part of the application or the game engine. So let's try to figure out what's causing this. Hey, thanks Manoj. Thanks for joining, man. Yeah, I'm trying to port a new game engine to the Amiga, Beats of Rage or OpenBOR. You may have seen that on some other systems before, like the PSP and the PS2 and the Dreamcast. It's a really cool fighting engine that I think it's going to run okay on an Amiga. I mean, when I say okay on an Amiga, I think it's going to run okay on an Amiga with an 060 or a Vampire accelerator. But you know, I want to really just show you guys how I port code and see if we can get this to work. And you know, if we can get this to work, we'll you know, we'll definitely release it and put it out on AmiNet and spread it around. So you know, as I think as I mentioned at the start of the stream, if this may take more than just today to get this to work, depending on how complex this can be. Some code that you get, open source code, is really clean and it can compile really fast without too many changes. But sometimes you really have to get in there and make a ton of changes to make it work. But hopefully this one will work okay. Okay, so let's try to figure this out. GameLib. Hey Fred, this is actually AmiDev CPP, but it does, I think underneath it, yeah, if I show you this, it's so it's actually AmiDev CPP, but it's just basically scanned or WXDev under the covers, I guess. But it's a kind of a customized version of it that has, you know, it's retargeted or it's targeted for Amiga, and there's a couple of templates you can use to quickly create an Amiga project to build Amiga executables fairly fast. So if you Google AmiDev CPP, I'll type it in the chat. If you Google that, you'll be able to download it and check it out. But yeah, I was at the start of the stream. I was kind of talking about how this is not necessarily the best way to write Amiga stuff, but it works for me. I know other people use different ways to do it. AmiDev CPP has been around for a long time. It's the compiler isn't the fastest, but for me, it's just user friendly. Like I build my stuff here on Windows, and then I just run WinUAE and test it. And once I've got something that works on the WinUAE, then I'll take it over to the Amiga, which will really show me how quickly it runs, and then from there, we start optimizing, and hopefully we can get some decent performance out of it. And sometimes you can't, obviously, but the other thing I'm going to say, guys, is I'm not an assembly language guy. I don't know much about assembler. I know a little bit of it, but I don't have I don't have those skills that some of the demo coders and the real guys that are really good with assembly language have. I'm very familiar with C and C++, but when it comes to assembly, I don't have that much experience. So, all right, so let's try to figure out what's causing this error, and see what's going on. Let me look at the make file again. The other thing that you want to check in the make file is there's what's called preprocessor definitions, and some of them will have specific information about what you want to build. So for example, build SDL has this SDL preprocessor. So if I go into my project options and go into my preprocessor, I have nothing set. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of these things, add SDL, and see, at least give that a try and see what happens. And I get the same error. Let's take a look at this. Commands. Oh. So I think the problem here is, and I was pretty sure that when I created the project, I said it was a C project. It's trying to compile them as C++. And from experience, that's not going to work. So we're going to have to tell the compiler that it needs to build all these files as not as C++, as C files. So unfortunately, I have to go through each of these and do it. But I think you can kind of go do something like, yeah. So everything's set to C++. So that's not going to work for us. I'm going to go ahead and set all these to C. What a pain. Like I said, ME-Dev CPP has some quirks about it. But I've used this long enough where I'm pretty familiar with the software. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, live porting, Vasily. I don't know how this is going to go, man. Could be a disaster, but we'll see. All right, we're compiling again. See if it gets any further. Okay, got an error again. Let's see what it's telling us this time. It looks like it got past the last error, which is good. So we got this, I don't know if you guys can read that very well. I don't know if I can actually make this screen, this window any bigger, but it's basically saying error conflicting types, sprite.c. So let's open that up. And this is where the error is. Now, conflicting types basically means that there's another function or a definition of this function that doesn't match this definition. So, but before I try to fix that, let's look at the makefile and see if sprite.c is included as part of the engine or the files that we need to build. And as you can see, we've got like sprite F and we've got sprite Q and sprite X8P16 and 8P32, but I don't see sprite.c in there. So let's just see if it's actually in there, and it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and take out sprite.c. It's not part of this project. And then continue. And got another error. We got, this is on ss-sprite.c, and that wasn't in the make file either. So I'm going to remove ss-sprite.c, which is right here. Compile. Move this over a little. Okay, we've got another error. This is an SDL error, SDL framerate.h. Now, I can tell you, I've done a lot of SDL ports before, and SDL framerate is something that's in SDL 1.3 or 1 or 2, I believe. It's not something that the Amiga SDL has, which is 1.2. So I'm just going to just simply take that out and see what happens. It's probably going to break a bunch of stuff, but it's going to keep going. So FPS Manager, actually, rather than taking it out, probably the best thing to do is just comment it out for now. Oops. See what happens. So these are a bunch of SDL errors, and I'm gonna hard code for now. And like I said, guys, my coding style may not necessarily be the right or the cleanest way to do things, but since we're talking about porting software here, really the first and most important task is to get something up on the screen. And then you worry about speed and other things later. So I'm setting this to 320 by 240, which is, obviously a very low-res Amiga screen. But again, remember, we're talking about the Amiga here, so we can't really afford to go too much higher than that. So let's just kind of hard code it at that resolution for now and see what happens. We've got more frame rate stuff. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff because I don't think it's even used. And then stored video modes. Get rid of this as well. I may have commented out stored video modes by mistake. Let's go back to the top and see if I did. I did. Let's uncomment that out. That's my mistake. Okay, getting closer, guys. So now, what's it talking about? Time redeclared as different type of symbol. I wonder if it's conflicting with time, Amiga time. It is. So it's conflicting with time.h from the Amiga. So set idle. I'm just going to, again, I'm going to comment this out and see if we actually need it anywhere. And this is what I'm going to do for now. Okay, it's linking. Okay, so we're getting closer. What linking means is everything that we've provided has compiled. So, but now what we're getting errors with is linking errors. And what that means is it needs to link against a set of libraries that are already created for us for this to build properly. And if you look at these link errors, and guys, can you actually see those errors, or are they kind of too too small and blurry. But just let me know in the chat there. But essentially, it's saying undefined reference to PNG underscore get IO pointer PNG SIG CMP. So basically, this needs to link to libpng, which is the open source kind of PNG library that many software products use. So we're going to link it to libpng as well. So there's all these link errors that we just need to resolve for, and I'll show you what to do that. Well, I'll show you how to do that, not what to do that. Doesn't make any sense. But we've got all sorts of SDL link errors. We have to link to the SDL library as well. So as we start to add the linkages, these link errors should start to disappear. So right now we've got a shitload of them. Yeah, there's probably a few hundred there, but now to link errors, or to fix the link errors, we need to go into our project, into our linker, and we start adding the libraries we need to link against. So let's add libpng. Now, I always get confused. Is it just PNG? I think it's just PNG. And one thing we can find out to help us is look at that makefile that we were kind of referring off of at the start. It'll have the libraries that it needs in here as well. I don't know if we're almost there, Manoj, but we're getting close, man. So there's the PNG lib that we need. And there's another one here. So there's a Z lib, which is I think is the lib zip, and then M, which is the math library. So I'm going to go ahead and add the libraries that we need here. So I'm going to add the SDL library, PNG. We probably need these Vorbis ones as well. I'm not sure if that applies here, but we're going to go ahead and add these libraries anyway. So let's go ahead and I'm going to add the SDL one, .a, and then LPNG, Z, and then M. I think that was the right order. Let's see what happens. Order is important when you add your libraries. So let's see what this does now. Oops, I can't find SDL. Let me make sure that that is correct. Let's try that again. Okay, we still have a lot of link errors, but as you can see, a lot of them have disappeared. So we just got to keep working through this. And undefined reference to main. So what that basically means is every C or C++, every C program has a main function. And what that's telling me is, for whatever reason, there's another file that I missed that has the main function in it. And it's probably, I want to say it's going to be in the SDL folder. So let's look at that makefile again and see if there was not something that I missed. SDL port. Yeah, so I'm missing a file here. So let's go ahead and add that. That's probably got the main function in it. Oops. Add folder. Add to project, not add folder. SDL port. Okay. I'm going to make sure that that builds as a C file, not a C++ file. So that should get rid of this error. Yep, as you can see, and it actually got rid of a bunch of others as well. So we're down to you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like you know about 12 or 13 now. So getting closer. Now I want to say that even though we'll have an executable that will run on the Amiga, there's no guarantees that this is going to work. So there's you know getting something up and running is the first piece, and then from there it's really about figuring out what you need to do to actually make it run appropriately, and if there's any things that we need to do. So we've got we've got all these OV files. OV clear, OV open callbacks, OV info. Now sometimes I'm not really sure, you know, where this is coming from. So what I like to do is search for it and see what file that might be in. So as you can see, OV clear is in sound mix. So what that's telling me is there's probably some more libraries we need to add to our linkage, and it's going to be these Vorbis libraries here, I think. So I'm going to just go ahead and grab these three. And include those. Okay. Now we've got kprintf and RINT. Now I've seen this kprintf before with this particular compiler. It's something that it comes up a lot, and I've fixed this before. And the easy way to do this is I'm just going to add a empty kprintf function because I don't even know if it even applies. So I'm just going to throw it in this file here. And in fact, I think I probably have this function in another project. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Is this fun to you guys? Is boring? Let me know. You know, I just thought I would do something a little different today. It's a nice Saturday afternoon, and thought I would show you guys how I go about doing some Amiga porting. Let's see. OpenBOR. Yeah, this is a 68,000 port. You know, it's like I mentioned before. It's probably not going to run on anything less than an 060, to be perfectly honest. And obviously, if you have a Vampire card, that's what we're really targeting this for. But we'll see. We'll see how it performs. It may be an absolute dog's breakfast. It may run okay. The reason why I chose OpenBOR for this, if for those that just joined or kind of questioning, the reason behind it is there's no emulation at all in Open Beats of Rage or OpenBOR. It's just basically an engine that loads a whole bunch of different assets and sound files and graphics files and images, and there's a scripting engine in there that basically does that. So there's no emulation as far as there's no CPU emulation, there's no sound emulation. It's really just fairly bare bones. So I have some, I feel fairly good that it's going to run okay, but there's never any guarantees until we get it on real hardware. Kprintf is for serial debugging, lim debug. It probably got pulled. Yeah, yeah, that's actually that's correct. Let's do that. So I guess I can. What you're saying, Vasily, is if I go to project options. And I should be able to add debug, I guess. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, you're right. I think I think the order of this is important. I may need to do debug first. I'll just do it the way that I do it. I have a stubbed function. Oh yeah, thank you. If this doesn't work, I have a stub function for kprintf that I've written before that will let the compiler link the executable. Let's see, did that work? Yeah, it looks like it. Let me do that again. It looks like it fixed it. No, it didn't fix it. I wonder if it needs to be underneath libstl. If this doesn't work, oh, it does work. Okay, so that fixed the kprintf error. So now we have rint. That sounds like that's a rounding function. I think that function takes a integer and rounds it to the nearest floating point or something like that. Let me see if I can just stub that out or find an rint.c function on the web. Now that should be in the math library, but I've already linked the math library, so I'm not really sure why it's not resolving. Let's try this. Wonder if that will work. So that compiled. So I may actually have to go back and figure out where that's actually being used, because it's very, very dangerous just to stub a function like that and return 0 every single time. It's probably going to be unpredictable. But the good news is we have our executable. So I'm not sure how long that took, but maybe about an hour or so to kind of pull down the code and include it into this project and compile it and build it. But as mentioned, that's only the first part of this. So now let's run it and see what happens. Now Beats of Rage or OpenBOR needs these .pack files. So I'm going to have to see if I can grab one of those. But before I even do that, I'm just going to run the executable and see what happens. It's probably going to guru the Amiga, but it may not. So now what I do is I fire up WinUAE, and I'm going to do that here. Hopefully it's not going to crash my stream like it did before. Yeah, that's a pretty tiny UAE screen. Let me just make that a little bigger. Hopefully you guys can see that. So this is just WinUAE running on the same machine as AmiDev CPP, and what I like to do is I can use the shell just to run the executable, but it gets pretty tiresome typing in the executable every time. So what I like to do is add it to my menus up here where I test different things. So go to Scalos and menus, and I've got a dev menu here, and I'm going to just create a new item, and I'm going to call it OpenBOR, and then underneath that I'm going to create a new command, and then I'm going to point it to the executable that we just created. Oops. Okay, now I gotta remember where I put it. It's external. Development. OpenBOR master. And there's the executable right there. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to do one more thing. One thing I noticed is I'm going to set a folder where that executable lives. Right now, it's just in the root folder. So if I go to project options and go to build options, I want to put my object files in a folder. Well, I want to put my executable in a folder called release. Oops. And then I want my object files in a folder called obj or obj. So I'm going to build that again while we wait for that. And then while that's running, I'm going to go back to UAE, and there should be a folder called release now. There it is. And I've got to wait for this executable to be built. Hey, Gregory, that's yeah, I'm going to... Yeah, that's actually probably going to work, I think. I'll go ahead and change that code. Let's go to parent. Refresh that. So there's our executable. I'm going to save that. And now I can just go to my menus and it's right there. So I can run it. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. Probably nothing. Oh, look at that. We got something. We have something. That's actually pretty good. I was expecting it to crash or guru meditation or something. So obviously we got a couple of things we got to figure out here. We got some issue with the colors. That looks like some type of RGB alpha BGRA type conversion that's not working, or some type of assumed red, green, blue setting in the code that the Amiga screen mode doesn't like. There's probably a bunch of different things we can try there, but I think before I even attempt to fix that, I'm going to download a pack file for Beats of Rage and drop it in this folder and see what happens. But that's actually it's a pretty good sign that that's actually running. And there's some debug there as well. Hey, David, if you want to post some code, just use paste bins, if you know what I'm talking about. Just if you throw it in paste bins. Actually, I'm not sure if you can actually link to paste bins. But, you feel free to PM me or hit me up and I'd be more than happy to take a look at it. So so I'm gonna download a pack file for Beta Rage, and let's see what happens. So just bear with me for a sec here, guys. I'm gonna open up directory Opus and go to external and go to development and go to OpenBOR release. So it's created all these folders for me. So there's a pack folder. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just jump on back on the Windows side and download a pack file. Let's see what happens. I guess I should have probably downloaded one before we started the stream, but you know, this is live and uncut, and you know, anything goes. So OpenBOR pack files. Okay, I found a link to one. Let's see. Just bear with me for a sec, guys. Just trying to find a game file that we can use with this. See what happens. Hey, Dave's Gamer, thanks for joining, man. And yeah, I'm glad you find this interesting. Just thought I'd do something a little different. Show you guys the madness when it comes to porting code. I really love it. I mean, you know, I do this for fun, obviously, and I really have. I enjoy seeing new things being ported to the Amiga. Obviously, there's still a very vibrant and a very popular community still around. So, hey, JJ, thanks for joining, man. There are guides for setting up WinUAE. There's probably some really good video tutorials on it. I don't claim to know it very well. It's very, very fiddly to set it up. There's a lot of moving parts. But one thing I will say is, once you get, you know, you need a Kickstart file, a Kickstart 3.1 or a 1.3. If you want to play games, just get a 1.3 Kickstart. If you want to do some serious kind of more productivity or development type stuff like what I'm doing, get 3.1. But what you want to download is what's called Classic Workbench. And there's a website that will kind of walk you through how to set up Classic Workbench, and the actual screen that you see here, this UAE screen, it's actually a Classic Workbench image. So hopefully that will kind of get you going. But there's a lot of videos on setting up WinUAE, you know, step-by-step guides on how to do it. Amiga Forever is another one as well. Amiga Forever is by Cloanto, I believe the company's called. they make a distribution which you pay for, but it's pretty cheap. I think it's only like 30 or $40 or something like that, where there's pre-made images that you can mess around with. So and yeah, that's right. You get licensed Kickstart ROMs, and you get pre-configured Amiga setups. It's actually pretty good. So check it out. You should be able to get a WinUAE image. But I mean, if you just download WinUAE, it would be pretty tough to figure out how to set it up, especially if you don't have that much experience with Amiga computers. So. All right, so I've got a pack file, and I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to throw it into that folder. I just downloaded one off a website, so, we don't really know how this is going to go. Development, Amiga. Release. Hey, Milika, thanks for joining. Yeah, I mean, it's controlled chaos, man. I mean, I don't know what to say, but it's a lot of fun doing this kind of stuff as well. So, um, you should think about it, especially if you write some Amiga assembly code. That'd be really cool. One thing I'd really like to see is some demo coders do some live streaming of how to write some cool routines. That'd be something I'd be definitely interested in, and not just on the Amiga, on 8-bit computers as well. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Hey, David, just email at info@modernvintagegamer.com. I think I typed in the chat. So, I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. I downloaded something called Vampire Hunter. I'm just going to throw it in there, see if it works. I think Vampire Hunter is some kind of Castlevania type fighting game for the OpenBOR engine. Let's see. STL support's pretty good. You need a fast Amiga for the STL ports. 040, a fast 040, 060, or a Vampire. If you're targeting a slower Amiga, 020, 030, you really want to rip out the STL code and do native Amiga code. And that may actually be something that we do here as well. We may find that this thing just is a dog's breakfast when it starts running. And I've done a lot of that before in some of my previous ports. For example, when I ported Chocolate Heretic and Rise of the Triad, they're all SDL-based code, which I removed all SDL and all semblances of it and just replaced it with native Amiga screen modes and things like that. And it certainly does help performance. Okay. All right, so now if we go into our PAX file, We've got one here called Vampire H. So let's try see what happens when we run this now. Oh, and looks like we got a crash. Not sure why. Okay. I wonder if that file that I downloaded isn't compatible with this port that I've done. Let's see. Yeah, it may not be. Let me delete that. Let me try another one. I don't know if that one actually works. Yeah, JJ, I'm trying to find a vanilla one. I'm having a hard time locating one. Let me see if I can find it though. There's a lot of dubious websites I don't want to click the links to as well. But let me see if I can find one. Fun, fun, fun. Sorry guys, I know this is super dull right now. BOR pack. Forum. Open handhelds. Yeah, let me check that. I think I saw that. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Beats of Rage original mod. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm grabbing it now. Awesome. It's downloading. Okay. Should be there. There it is. Let's get rid of this. Let's try that again. Oh, it crashed again. Let me run it in shell because I'm not really sure what it's saying. Let's run it from here. Maybe we can get a better idea of what it's complaining about. Shutdown called from load all fonts. Doesn't really tell us much, does it? So let me, I think there was a debug option in the code where you can turn on additional logging. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Maybe it'll give us more information about why this isn't working. So I'm going to temporarily remove my UAE screen, jump back into my C compiler, and in my project options, I'm going to set debug in here as well. Now I'm going to have to do a clean and a build. And hopefully what that means is when we run the application, it'll give us more information about why it's not running. Yeah, I wanted the 1233N as well, but I can't justify the price. It's really expensive. I'd love to have a 55 megahertz 030. All right, let's run that again, see if this gives us any more information. Okay. So, let's see. From OpenGIF. Data sprites font.gif. So load screen called pack file. So it wanted the font GIF file from the pack, but it's saying that it couldn't find it. That's a bit strange. One thing that I'm going to try is with these pack files, you can actually unpack them, and you can run them unpacked as well. So I'm going to extract this pack file and put it in the pack folder and try run that and see what happens. I'm not sure if this is the pack file is. I mean, I'm pretty confident this pack file is good, considering it came from Open Handhelds, and it's probably been downloaded a million times. So there's a tool that you can use to actually extract this pack file. And I think it's part of the code that I downloaded. So let me do that here real quick. And just to kind of show you what I'm doing, I'm going to add another window here. Add screen capture. And I'm going to add the extract tool and extract this pack file. because I don't believe that I have files missing. Oops, I had UAE turned off. You guys didn't even see that. Let me show you what I was talking about. So when I run it with the debug, there's some more information here, but it's basically saying that it can't load this data sprites font.gif from the pack file, but I don't believe that to be true. I think there's something else that's causing it. So one thing you can do is extract the pack file as files and then just run the kind of extracted version as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Development. And I have stuff all over my Windows machine on 3 drives, so I can never find anything. That's why I'm always like going from screen to screen. I really need to like consolidate my machine one of these days. All right, I'm going to show you what I'm about to do here. Make this font bigger. Hopefully you can see it. Add screen. There we go. So there's my DOS screen. Okay. Going to packs. I'm going to make that font size bigger because I'm sure you guys can't see that. Properties. Let's just make the screen bigger. So there's a program called Paxplode or extract. I think it's extract. There it goes. So it's just basically extracting the pack file. So that's really all I want to show there. I'm going to hide that for now. And then sorry, I'm just checking the chat. Hey, ST Jones. Yeah, man, that's me. We were talking on Facebook about the Wi-Fi 232. Thanks for joining the chat. Release. Release packs. Okay. If you look in our folder now, I've got all these tools to extract the pack file, but here's the this is what the pack file when you extract it looks like, and it was complaining that it couldn't find data sprites font.gif. Sprites font, so it's there. It actually, I mean, it's there. So obviously there's another issue. So let's try to run the extracted version and see what happens in that regard. So still not working. Let's see. Oh, I think my path is wrong. So let's go back to directory opus. Let me just do it in Windows. Probably just easier. So let's grab this data folder and drag it up to here. So what that looks like now is we've got data there. So let's try that. Let's see. Yeah, this is a little strange. I'm not sure why. So let's see here. Open pack file, call from OpenGIF. Title, packs data. Open pack file. Failed assertion 0. Data bgs title.gif. Data bgs title.gif is right there. So this looks like it's some kind of path issue. I wonder if my data file is not in the right spot. I wonder if it needs to be in the root folder. Hey Manoj, thanks for joining, man. Hopefully we can get this thing to work, but if I can't get it working today, I'll be sure to do a follow-up stream, and hopefully we can see it running on a real Amiga once it's ready to go. Hey STE, I really like King Kong. I think it's awesome. To be honest, I can't actually use a shell without it, so I certainly recommend that you use it. But again, you know, I always say it depends on what you want to use your Amiga for. You know, if you want to do some heavy kind of command line stuff, I think King Kong is definitely the way to go. But if you're just kind of a casual user, then maybe it's really not worth it. So. I'm going to move this data folder to the root folder, and I don't know if this is going to work. I feel like there's yeah, it's still some issue. Not really sure what's causing it, but it seems like it's having difficulty finding files, even though those files exist, and it's a little strange. But you know, I'm sure it's something that we can figure out. Oh, that's a really good point. Vasily, yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. So we need to look and see if there's any compiler flags for Big Endian. So let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, that could be something that we need to do. So let's go ahead and include that in our preprocessor definitions. Every time you update your preprocessor definitions, you have to recompile. Good catch. I didn't even think about that. Amiga cannot use Little Endian. The Motorola 68000 PowerPC processors are all Big Endian processors. Yep, that looks good. Let's try that again. Well, that's a little better. It doesn't crash this time. Yeah, there should be a preview image there, which I believe is the title.gif file that it was trying to reference. It's referencing it, so it means it's hitting the file system. So that's a good sign. So let's try run this now. See what happens. Unable to load data sprites shadow 3. Okay. Well, we're getting closer. Now that image that it's trying to reference, though, it's a GIF image. It's not, but that could just be a an SDL issue. I mean, obviously we've got issues with colors here, so that could just be a pitch issue. It may be trying to reference it as an 8-bit image, and this may be a 16-bit screen mode or a 32-bit screen mode, so I'm not too concerned about the image not displaying there at this point. So it looks like it's starting to load, and then it just dies. So let's see if we can look at the output a little better here. I mean, it's definitely doing its thing here. So it's loaded shadow 1, it's loaded shadow 2, and then it's saying shadow 3. And then it shuts down. Result is 0, so it's this shadow 3. Let's take a look at directory opus again. There's shadow 3. Let me wonder why I can't open that. Well, well, that's not true. It's opened the image, but the result is 0. So I wonder if we have all the endian issues resolved. So when does this get used? Let's see. I'm going to go back to my C++ session here. And load image. BOR endian. Okay. Let's take a look at this endian file and see what it's trying to do there. I'm going to open that up. Open file. Resources, no. Source. GameLab BOR endian. There it is. I wonder if it's, let me just put some garbage in there. I'm not really sure if it's actually hitting, oh, it absolutely is hitting it, okay. So I think our endian stuff is fine. So I wonder if it has to do with the load image function. But that would be fine as well because it's definitely loading images. Open pack file call from OpenGIF. Let's go to OpenGIF. There's OpenGIF. So result is 0. So result is 0 means it's any of these. And we don't really know which one it is because it's not giving us any debug on which one it is. So as you can see, this last function here, read image with format GIF result is 0. These are the 3 options that it could return 0. Otherwise, it's returning 1. So I don't know if it's not finding it, or if it's trying to read it, but it's it can't find the GIF header, or if it's not a GIF file. So before we do anything, let's actually see if that's actually a GIF file on the file system. So let's see if the extract program actually extracted those images correctly. So let's take a look at the file system. I think I have that added. I have so many windows open. Let's see if this comes up. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to make this bigger so you guys can see it better. But what I'm looking for here is to see if that extract program actually did what it was supposed to with those GIF images, or if it just extracted them as garbage. And if it extracted them as garbage, then that could be the reason why this thing isn't working. So let's go into data, sprites, and this is a pain because you can't see that, but let me do this real quick. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that. So it looks like our GIFs images are accurate and correct. So there's Shadow 3. So I feel pretty confident that, you know, the extract program worked and did everything it was supposed to. And I feel pretty confident that this is a valid GIF image based on the fact that it's previewing as such. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to return some debug here in each of these three functions to figure out which one of these is returning 0. What's the... You know, there's already a debug function that they use. I'll just use printf for now. That's fine. Oops. So this is going to tell us which of these three it's failing on. I suspect it's going to be the second one. So let's find out. Hey, David. Thanks for that, man. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I appreciate it. And you're right. I think it should be able to use the uinteger 128 type. Don't know why, but it's not printing my debug, or it's not even getting there, but it has to be getting there because we've got OpenGIF here. Let me print the debug. I wonder if... printf is even outputting to the console. Let's do pdebug. Maybe something's been changed. Calling read image with format GIF. Load bitmap called load sprite. Open pack file called OpenGIF. Huh. That's strange. It's not even hitting this stuff. I wonder if it's getting past this stuff, or if it's even getting here. So let's see. This is going to get called a lot, I think. So it's calling OpenGIF, and then it's calling OpenPackFile. So it's erroring out. And that's not true because it should have errored here. So it's getting down to here, but it can only return one, so it has to be... So something in open pack file is causing it to error out. It's not even getting here. Let's take a look. Open GIF. Oh, wait a second. I think I see what the problem is. Oh, no, I don't. Yeah, it looks like it succeeds and read image is failing. It's a little strange because it seems like everything else is loading fine above it. There's fonts and other things that are going on, but I wonder if it's actually true. I've probably got about 10 more minutes, guys, before I wrap up the stream. But what I'm probably going to do is leave it here for today. One thing that I'm really big on when it comes to writing code, even in general, or porting or whatever, is I'll get a chunk of work completed and then kind of walk away for a while, or walk away and come back the next day. Sometimes it's really good just to clear your head and think about it a little bit, because you look at these debug logs and they drive you crazy. And unfortunately, at least with this setup that I have, there's no easy way of doing debugging with breakpoints. It's really, you put print statements in or you put debug code in and you try to figure out what's going on. And that can get a little tedious. But I've had pretty good success with that with Amiga ports in the past. So I feel pretty confident I can get through past this issue. But yeah, I think I am going to leave it here for today, guys. Hopefully, this was fun and a little different, but just reading the comments here. Should it not be void read image? Where are you seeing that, David? Are you talking about if we look at calling read image? Okay, calling read image. So here's read image. Okay. Calling read image with format GIF. So this is some kind of function pointer to the OpenGIF call. So I think this type read function is what you're talking about. That has the probably a set of function pointers. Right. I had my Amiga screen blocking what I was looking at. Let me kill that for a sec. Oops. So yeah, if you look at read image, it figures out that it's a type GIF and it's calling the function pointer for the read type, which I'm assuming is OpenGIF or read GIF right there. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it at that for today. And I'll probably, if I have some time tomorrow, I'll probably set up another live stream where hopefully I'll have a solution to this. It shouldn't take too long to figure it out. I think it's just some issue with maybe paths or something like that. But hopefully we can get this issue solved, and we can get Open Beats of Rage working. But pretty good progress today. Basically pulled down the code, was able to compile it, link it successfully. We have something that works. We have the menu, which is it's a good start. So hopefully we can get some gameplay working. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekends.